Hey!
And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody.
Hello, serious mode in the game build.
Welcome to the Q&A. We're going to be answering questions from the forums, but also from your Q&A chat right now. So yeah, we have a bunch of experts from the development team.
Experts.
That will be answering. We will be
Absolutely.
answering.
We are the top of the line.
Hello, 19 users. There's a Q&A chat. If you post your questions in the Nomads chat, I'll ignore them. Not because we're being mean, because we made this chat for that purpose only.
Yeah.
So if you,
so we're going to be.
If you can't,
you rail on 19. Sorry, go ahead.
If you can't follow basic instruction, such as posting in the actual chat.
Well, they've been pretty good mannered about it so far.
So
I think we're on good standing.
So I think we should start with the first question in the forums and just go down.
Yeah, we're going to start with the forum. Yeah.
Actually,
forum questions, then moving over to the Q&A.
Hold on. Better idea is what we'll do is we'll actually post that, pin it, so people can see it, and then people can read along if they want to. Although no one does anyone do that anymore? Read along with the question.
Cyberknight says, "I live in America. I'll talk where I want," and muted.
He says in the Q&A chat.
Playing.
Okay, so the first question is from Ultra Hyperduck. Will there be cats in this game?
Which is, of course, important.
I mean, it's definitely a question. I think that falls in line with pets.
And there is a pets question later.
So there is a pets question. So
very low key. I would like to push for things like that.
So will there be cats in this game? I mean,
cats strictly, probably not. There will be cat-similar creatures.
Yeah, cat-like.
Likelihood.
Void cats. I will add Shadow Cat to this game, and none of the devs can stop me.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing stopping you getting any type of pet and calling it cat.
True.
Yeah, that's technically true.
This is my cat. Well, that looks like a shark. No, it's a cat.
That's the demon from the Umbral Plane.
Okay. Do you plan of adding a party mechanic? By Schwan. Yes, there is a party mechanic already.
Yes, that is
We've already coded that. So yes. How big? I assume you want a question or a follow up for that. Is how big's the party?
We said 4 people.
4 players, possibly going to 8 in the future. Because the more the merrier. Will there be ship destruction physics by ship destruction physics? Frames, no.
I think we
Panels,
had code for that. I think we had code for that. We had code that traced from cannon to ship panel that was able to cut out a chunk of where the cannonball was going to hit, and then it would just blow that piece off.
We're not going to do that anymore because it's too physics intense. So what we're doing now is that cannons will hit panels and take health off them, and eventually panels will no longer exist.
When a panel breaks, it will in all likelihood fall apart into pieces that'll be physics client side.
Yep, and then it will just disappear. So, yeah, and you can just double wall your ship. So there's no in the editor. There's nothing stopping you double walling your panel. So you have an inner and an outer. Say double protection. There's nothing stopping.
Though that will make your ship heavier. So you're gonna have to compensate for that.
Mm-hmm.
More ship, more frame, more engines, more ship, more frame, more engines. Yeah. Will I be able to edit my ship on the fly? No. You'll have to dock at a shipyard for that.
And I believe we discussed possibly having to build a ship in a build the ship editor separately so that people could just upload their ships directly instead of having to worry about building it in game.
Yeah, so we're having this idea that you can build your ship in game. That's fine. That's up to you if you want to do that. But we can also build your ships outside of the game. This will allow people to basically spend hours of their life not having to worry about being shot in the face as you're trying to build. Because if you are shot in the face, you won't know you've been shot in the face until you've exited the game and found all your loot's gone. So, most people would like, I imagine, to build their ships out of the game, knowing that they could never die. So
essentially you can design ships without being actively in a server.
One guarantee is definitely that the ship's frames will be saved. That's one thing. Guaranteed.
How will islands? Oh, sorry. What happened to lore? It's still being created.
Aside from that, yeah.
Ballistic, this is yours.
Yes, that is still in development. We're going to be hush-hush on a fair few details and revealing them as we see fit, but it is still in development. Rest assured on that.
The only lore I think you need to know at this moment is that if you see my ship coming towards you, just run.
Sure.
Because I'm going to be an admin. I will enable God mode for myself. You cannot stop me.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
It won't stop them from trying, believe me.
Oh boy.
But yes.
How will islands be created? Hand designed or procedurally generated? Hand designed. Most islands will be hand designed, with procedural generation coming in the future. Once we've worked out a system that actually works.
I actually think that kind of falls more into my area too, because me and I believe it was me and JoJo were on a lot of the like modeling side. We are currently focusing on doing mostly just templated questions and templated islands, where we're basically going to create small chunks of land in different shapes, sizes, and figures that will be available for the community to add their own pieces to. We're doing this mostly because we don't want to let the community upload their own, because that would get too out of hand far too quickly and invite too much chaos. But we don't want to do procedural just yet, because the amount of coding it would take to create a procedural island generator without directly just ripping off of another program would be massively delaying to our team. So we're going to start with a small selection of hand-created islands that we're going to let people more or less decorate on their own, and then people can just vote on what they want.
If you can imagine, it's like character customization, where you can pick a preset for a face. But can you imagine that for islands, where you can pick several hundred different designs of islands? And there will be, it feels procedural because, the islands are, there'll be more islands to pick from than there will be in the game to start with. So it will have that procedural feel, but then eventually you'll see an island go, that looks familiar, but it will look different because it would be designed differently. So there's no way to know where all the hiding spots are, because it's up to the player making the island to block them or use them.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip Agob's question because it's irrelevant.
We can go the cyberpunk route if y'all really want it. I just don't think anybody wants that.
Will it be okay? I think he means, will it be chickens in the game? No.
No, we're not planning on adding chickens to the game. Unfortunately, chicken breeding is not on our radar.
Will there be base building? Unfortunately, base building will not be happening in this game.
Yes, we decided against bases.
I think the only thing we'll have is camps, like tiny camps that you can set up like a spawn point.
Yeah, so what will happen is you'll find an island with a damaged fort or a broken base. So you'll find pre-existing ruins of bases that you can take over. Now, these bases will have cannons on them, but no ammo. And you'll have to, it's a temporary stay. So, for instance, if you're going to, schedule a meetup with all your friends at a certain island that's got a fort on it, you can fortify it for as long as you can. Eventually, you'll leave, and then that will be reset.
Think about it. Think about it kind of like this. We have two options at this point. Either because resources around the world are always going to be constantly refreshing in order to keep it fresh, and so that resources don't run out. We would either have to allow anybody to just set up a base and keep it there regardless of when the resources refresh, which means that somebody could just find the island with the most resources, set up a massive base on it, and then just hunker down, and that would go completely against the spirit of the game, which is airships and sky islands. Or B, every time the resources reset, it would wipe the base, which would mean that base building would be useless because you'd set up a base and then a day later it'd be gone. So there's really no point to that. We would unfortunately we can't figure out base building in a way that balances it with airship combat as well. So we're going against it and saying we're just going to make prefab structures.
Not only that, but if people are allowed to build bases and stick to one area, it prevents the aspect of exploration, which is a major component of the game.
That's the thing we want to really enhance that feeling of actually being a nomad.
we want
continually
people to-
moving
yeah.
and exploring.
We want people to move around. It's better for the server if people are constantly moving around, because you'll have too many people hunkered down in one zone. It will
Yeah,
it will
your
cause
ship
some
should be your
problems.
base.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, the only buildable structures of the player, like base-wise, are probably just like simple tents and camps. To put
Yeah,
in
I mean,
their
I wouldn't
cooking
be
stations and all.
opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to putting like a cooking spit or like a
Yeah.
little like TP that people can build or just pack up if they wanted to like stay on an island for a night. That'd be fine. But
Build
I would
temporary
they would
structures.
definitely have to definitely have like a durability or like a limited usage, and
Yeah.
there would definitely have to be some element of you're only here for the night to weather out like a storm that's passing by, or you're hiding out from pirates, like that sort of thing. That's
temporary.
it's giving the option, but not making it mandatory or even like a feature.
Basically that.
It's a camp, not a base.
Yeah.
Scoring down. Okay. Will there be pets? Yes.
Mountain?
We aren't sure
I
how
don't know.
useful they'll be, but we're thinking about having them. Yes.
I am going to push for pets, yes, because I think that there is like, look, have you ever heard of the Twitter account, Can You Pet the Dog? I want there to be a post that says you can pet the dog at Voyage Adrift, and I'm sticking to it.
I wouldn't have a pet because I can hardly look after myself, never mind a virtual animal. So, moving on.
Will there be a furry style mask like the kitsune from Worlds Adrift? Well, I assume so.
Well, masks
judging
are
Maybe-
going into customizations, so yeah, possibly. But obviously,
Yeah, that would go. That would
I'm
go
actually-
under like armor.
I'm actually one of the since I'm one of the models and asset developers, I'm actually one of the ones doing cosmetics, and I actually have a lot of plans for cosmetics. Masks was a big one. Goggles. I planned on doing like jackets and coats, which we were like talking about doing a potential coat editor.
hats.
Hats were a big one too. I have a lot of things. If you guys have ideas for possible possible cosmetics that you want, you can always like suggest them or shoot them to us, and we can definitely like put them in game or explore modeling them for the game, because I love cosmetics. Cosmetics is my favorite thing in video games.
Yeah.
So I would like things like steampunk glasses and goggles and hats and monocles.
Of course. There's going to be
in that theme.
I think the best part about cosmetics is just like how outrageous you can get with some of them. So you could genuinely like, I could genuinely throw like for a cosmetic just like a holographic like ghost head on for a cosmetic that just completely replaces your normal head, and people would freaking die for that.
And I would like seasonal limited edition cosmetics, which like pumpkins in Halloween and Santa Claus outfits in Christmas, and 4th of July you could have like an American flag that you can wear in your backpack.
No
and,
lore reason, but just in case.
just hilarious reasons. Okay, next question is melee weapons.
Melee weapons.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
I have plans. Very deep plans.
So what kinds of what all kinds are there? Ballistic? Is there swords, hammers, axes? What else?
Yes. I don't
All of
have a
the
list
above.
on hand, but the general idea so far is I don't actually know if we've gone too far into the damage system, but the plan is we're going to be dividing damage into 3 main types. That'll be, what are the terms? There's slashing, pierce, and crush. Those 3, with different weapons made to sort of cater to each one of those, and different materials for armor made to resist particular kinds of damage, stronger than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like swords would focus on either slash or pierce. What was it?
Yeah.
Axes and maces for crush and slash again. That kind of thing.
And bow and arrows would be classed as a melee. So there's something
I don't know about melee.
Well, I mean,
It's ranged.
it's
Yeah,
range.
it's
It's a ranged weapon. One of the things I would like is obviously a knife is quieter than a gun. So if you can sneak up behind someone and shank them,
everything has its own strength.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is sneak up behind someone and go to shank them and realize you're outnumbered 10-1. So yeah. How will you be planning to do the multiplayer? We've been working on that for several weeks now. The multiplayer is going to be hosted by us. on our partner, Bofa. Bofa's doing servers for Voids. It's going to be. I can't give you the exact numbers per server, but it's over 100 per server to start with in the alphas. As we're planning, we'd like to go at least 1,000, even more. But while we're in development, it's going to be low numbers. There's going to be several spawns of the servers, so it's not going to be one server. And then we're also doing regional servers, because if you're in Japan, I think it'd be awful trying to connect to a server based in Germany with your because it's about latency. So we're going to have regional servers. So we're going to have one in Frankfurt. There's going to be one in New York. There's going to be one in somewhere located in Asia. Preferably not
as we can manage.
Preferably not China, because there'll be stipulations on that. So yeah, there'll be regional servers for people connecting, especially those in Australia, which we have a small Australian and New Zealand audience, and we'd like to please those as well by sticking a server in Oceania, which is that region.
What else we got?
How do you plan on splitting the player base? Do you plan on splitting the player base?
Ideally, we'd like not to.
No, I mean we don't want to split the player base, but there is going to be some split player base for
different servers.
Language reasons. You wouldn't want to join a server where everyone's speaking Chinese and not understand what's going on. So yes, there'll be
plus the ping.
Plus ping. Yeah. Now there's nothing stopping you joining an American server if you're based in the United Kingdom. That depends on your broadband, not ours. Again, it's you can do it. There's nothing stopping you. If all your friends are in America and they're going to be playing on American servers, you can play on American servers much like you could at Rust. There's nothing stopping you doing that.
I think to some extent they're probably wondering about PvP and PvE too.
Yeah.
PvP and PvE. There's no PvE server. PvP, it's all one server. PvP and PvE. If you don't want, the issue here is that people don't want to partake in PvP. They want to, stay solo PvE player. I don't think it's going to be a problem. The scale of our world is going to be 3 to 4 times bigger than most game worlds. The world's going to be so big and so spacious that if you venture out farther enough, because you've got different zones and different layers, I don't believe you're going to have an issue. But again, it's all about testing. If we need to, we'll establish a new, a system for PvE. But I don't believe it's going to be an issue at all. Anyone else add on that?
I just want to say that we're working on systems to try to prevent ganking. I know a lot of people are worried about that.
Yeah.
We're really working hard trying to figure out a way.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that encounters are fair.
Yeah,
for both the aggressor and the target.
The safe zone is a big island in the center of the world, and the safe zone is going to be an area where you can go and meet people and build ships and use trading and just hang about and not worry about being killed, because you can't be killed in the safe zone.
And then a tavern or something.
Yeah, and as you leave the safe zone, you are invulnerable to damage for 10 minutes. So you can't be killed for 10 minutes after you leave the safe zone. This is to stop people from being ambushed. Neither can you attack either. This is to stop you from being ambushed or ambushing other players.
Yeah.
So if you decide to fly out somewhere and disconnect, that's up to you. If you attack somebody and then think, I'll just head to the safe zone where they can't attack me back, it won't allow you in for 10 minutes. There's a cooldown. So you need to be not attacked at 10 minutes to enter the safe zone. So you can't just go around attacking people
area.
And then head into the safe zone thinking you'll be safe, because it won't work.
Yeah, no safes coming.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. Similar material mechanic.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the same thing. If you make your ship out of lead, then it's going to be heavier than making your ship out of gold.
Yeah, there are going to be 3 sort of main classes of materials, and then a bunch of sort of additional niche materials on top of that. So like bug chitin or that kind of thing would be a niche material, but the common ones will be metal, wood, and the third one we aren't entirely certain how we're going to flavor it, but we're thinking either crystal or ceramic. We're going to work that out to make sure it feels more consistent for a choice between the two. But
Obviously,
essentially,
you don't want to be flying around, he who makes a house out. What's the saying?
People who live in glass
house.
houses should not throw stones.
Yeah, so you shouldn't have you do not want a glass ship, although there will be, because people are badass and go, yeah, I'm making a glass ship is one of those glass, these are my wares. Look, you can see what I have.
Imagine ramming into another ship then.
Oh yeah, can you imagine ramming
An
into a ship made of
explosion.
glass and just there goes my ship.
Yeah,
It's just a cloud of fucking glass particles.
yeah. Just turn your enemy's ship, like their entire deck, into like a saw contraption.
Yeah. Okay. Will there be a system for? Will there be a system to party of? Yeah, we've been through that.
You missed one.
I'm going to skip that for now and come back to it.
Okay.
Will there be a system to party of players? Yep, we've discussed that. There's going to be a party system. Will there be more tools in the editor? We have a backlog of tools that are going into the editor. So yes, there's plenty.
Still adding more to there.
Will there be a feature to import 3D models such as objects? No. This is because people can steal models, stick them on our editor, and then we're liable for damages against
And also just
people using
fill their
models.
ship with dicks.
Yeah, and people could
Way too
just
easily.
people would. Or Nazi propaganda or whatnot. It would happen, unfortunately, because there'd be no regulator on that. So no. Although, if you do manage to make something that's extremely racist in the ship editor, you will be banned. Simply because grotesque. Yeah, we don't take. It's grotesque and it's harmful and it's bad to the community. Don't do it. I have seen people upload ships to the workshop that are just swastikas. Those people have been banned from uploading to the workshop. So please don't.
Yeah.
Behave and be an adult.
You're asking for a ban if you do that. Okay. Darwin's asked a lot
Quite
of
a few
questions. Yeah. I'll try and answer as many as I can, Darwin's. I know you like to ask questions.
Let's see.
Hello, do you want to take the first one? World questions.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Better for canon, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that one.
The first one? Okay, he can take it.
Yeah. First question is, what will the floors separating the world layers be like? If they are cloudy, will lower layers simply exist under perpetual stormy skies? So, yeah. If you aren't aware yet, the way the different zones are sort of sectioned off is they're all sort of in a stack. You start in the middle, there are 2 layers above you, 2 layers below, and those are like the main areas. Between each of those, there are what we for now call veils, which are just big old layers of cloud. And those will be thick layers of cloud. There will essentially be loading zones. There will be an area where it's just sort of thick cloud, and then there's a loading zone beneath. So you'll be going through actual clouds before you hit there. To keep people from hiding out in the clouds to ambush people, we're thinking of things like sort of building up static electricity and eventually getting hit by lightning if you hang in those clouds too long. But for the most part, they're essentially just a loading zone, somewhere to go through. If you, you will need equipment to get from the middle zone into more extreme ones. So if you're hanging in those areas for too long and you don't have that equipment, you will take damage and eventually die.
And I would to add to this, it's some things like in the snowy level, you'll need cold coats and protection against the cold. And much like the void, because it's corrosive, you'll need protection. It will damage your armor or damage you if you're not wearing armor.
Yeah, you yourself personally.
It would be silly. Now I'll go for the next one. How long do you expect an island to stay afloat before it's recycled? We discussed approximately, I think it was either an hour
Yeah,
Or until all the
it'll
resources
differ
are
until
depleted.
different kinds of islands.
So the bigger the island, the longer it stays afloat for, because it's so big.
Yeah,
We
and
also
forts, for
discussed-
example, islands with forts on them will stick around longer since you would presumably like to plan out with them. That kind of thing.
I don't know what happened there.
We also did discuss, this has been a while back though, we did discuss maybe like if all the resources are depleted off the island, that's like a 15-minute timer before it starts resetting itself maybe. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure how...
It would hasten up the process.
essentially, yeah.
Who's placing the voice music into this channel?
Huh.
I don't hear anything. Oh, music box.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
who keeps doing that?
That was loud.
Somebody is trolling us.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, yeah, someone is right. Let me see. Give me a second. Who placed that?
Let's see. Yeah, I've got it muted on my end.
Yeah, I've got it muted on my end. Groovy, left join.
That is awful rude.
Oh, play Indian rare. Play Indian rate music. Tricks. See.
Oh, that's very funny.
Uh-huh.
Let me see.
Not that handy.
Levi. Raytrex. Bye, Levi.
There we go.
See, this is the reason why we didn't do we're not going to do things like adding community methods for creating islands and uploading things. This right here is the exact reason why we're not doing it, is because people are
'Cause some of
always
y'all
going
can't
to find
behave.
some way, and they think it's funny. They think it's funny to do that.
Oh, look,
You know?
2 people banned. What a shame. Yeah.
Alright.
So, approximately how long would it take to fly from island to island in a good ship?
Oh, it depends on the distance really, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have to be... We'll
Give
end
me
up fine-tuning that stuff.
give me a second, Darwin's. I'm inviting you to join this voice chat.
Huh.
So, Darwin's, can you say something?
Hello, I am here.
What's a good ship?
Howdy, howdy.
What's a good ship? A ship you could fly around in after a few days in game.
Presumably one
not
optimized for actual
steerable.
travel.
Yeah, but what's a good ship? I mean, a good ship could be 2 engines. It could be 50 to you.
Well, I'm
We've
guessing
seen-
like a
we've
balanced one.
We've seen your designs. We know what a good ship looks like.
I remember in any game where you can build your own vehicle or anything, some people will optimize for specific things like speed, and you get 0 mass 100 engine ships. And that's not what I mean. The sort of standard ship someone might just be flying around and they're living in it. It's not a specialized ship, is what I mean by a good ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it depends on distance. I'm just wondering, are you expecting it to take 30 minutes to get from island to island?
Oh,
Or
no,
like
no.
5,
That'd be way too long.
2 minutes. They're right next to each other. Can barely
Well,
squeeze ships between them.
Well, the thing is, we'd need the islands to actually be close enough that you could get from island to island with a grappling hook, because otherwise you'd be kind of limited if you end up spawning on an island without enough resources to build a ship. So that wouldn't be too big of a gap. Something probably along the lines of a couple of minutes in a ship, for example.
I've moved you back to audience now. So how approximately would it take to fly to the bottom or top in a good ship? Okay, so if you turn off your core, you have 30 seconds to re-enable it. It's not an on thing. You can't abuse it. There is a timeout. So you turn it off, it turns off instantly, and then you turn it back on. It takes 30 seconds to turn back on. So if you could learn how to time it right, you could drop your ship. Now, dropping your ship, you can drop through the layers really quickly. That's fine. You can go.
If you can survive them.
If you can survive them, you can drop really quick. You can drop to the void. If you don't turn on your core, you'll just explode when you hit the bottom and die. If you've made a really crap ship and you do this, you may survive the drop, but you may not have the capabilities to fly back up. For instance, you probably wouldn't make it past the void cloud area because it will just destroy your ship. So unless you've got a ship that can get back up, I wouldn't be dropping back down. Sure, it's an easy way to get out of pirates. If someone's been chasing you, last resort, switch off the core. Wait a minute or so until you're out of that zone and switch it back on again. That's easy way to get out. So that's how I would say anyway. So flying down is easy. Going
Or
back
falling.
up, well, falling because you're with gravity when you're falling. You're against gravity when you're trying to go
Yeah,
up.
of course.
So and the drag as well. You're against drag, and that follows on to the next question. Will your ship speed be affected by aerodynamics? Well, yes. If the bigger your ship is, the more it will take to get to the top speed, or the slower it will take more time to stop as well.
Yeah,
So
don't expect like vortex simulations, that kind of thing, but there will be solid, I guess, aerodynamics.
Yeah, if you're trying to turn a ship with no, because we're going to have wings, and wings give you stabilization and give you the function to move, and there'll be tail fins that give you. So stick more of those in your ship, and your ship will handle more. If you've got none of those, then your turning is based on your engines, which may not work out for you when you realize, oh, I'm going to hit an island, turn, and much like the Titanic, where they saw the iceberg and they turned and nothing happened, and nothing happened, and nothing happened, and then they hit it, and then something happened, and then they sank. Yeah, that's much like what's going to happen.
At what range would you expect ship-to-ship combat to occur? That is an interesting question.
If you can
Because we
see,
do-
well, I would say if you can see them, they can see you. If you're one of those people who've mastered snipering someone from across the map, then if you can point your cannon up high enough and range it perfectly, and because you can only kill what you can see. So if you're one of those people who have mastered their cannons and you know exactly where to shoot, if they're trailing or leading or whatever, then the range is, can you see them?
To that end, though, we do want to give different weapons different effective ranges. So like a ballista, for example, would be a very good high-range weapon, or a cannon would be a little shorter range, and then something else like, say, chain shot, for example, would be even closer. So different weapons optimized for different ranges. So you build your ship to sort of accentuate what playstyle you want to have in combat.
It says that the triad though too, right?
Yeah. So like a ballista in that case would also be a very good pierce weapon with cannons being good crush, that kind of thing.
It's also you have try to balance the situation where you've got damage. I think was it damage range and fire rate, I think.
Yeah. We do want to have customization in weapons, including ship weapons, and that will include being able to sort of not strictly enhance everything, except by just using better materials, but instead being able to sort of shift, I guess not priority, but shift the attributes. So like cutting down the fire rate or reload rate to increase the damage of each shot, that kind of thing. And
there will be overheat as well on weapons.
In some cases.
Cannons. Yeah, you can't continually shooting with no adverse effects. Your cannons will overheat.
Different weapons for different rules.
Yeah, so don't. Yeah, absolutely.
We want to give everything a different kind of feel and then customization, because like one of the things I personally have noticed in a lot of like shooter games is you'll have like 500, well not 500, that's an exaggeration, but like 10 or 20 different assault rifles that will all have the same principle behind them in how they operate, but just slightly different stats. We would be offering essentially the equivalent of just one sniper rifle, but you can personally tinker with the stats.
Yeah, and back on the cannon overheat, I'll just mention cannons don't overheat in the frigid zones, in the cold zones where it is so cold it kills you if you're not wearing the right equipment.
Yeah, environmental attributes.
Yeah, so if you can fire your cannon as much as you want in the cold zone, because the cold is actually cooling your cannon down. But like in the heat area, the void, for instance, where it's super hot, your cannon will overheat quicker. Yeah,
Shots would not.
different-
Yeah. I'll say quickly because someone did mention in the QA chat, someone said isn't range infinite if the shot travels to lower zones. Shots themselves would not be traveling to lower zones. They would just disappear if they enter the loading zone.
I mean,
Yeah.
no one can expect to go, wow, my ship's amazing, and then got clamped on the head with a
Yeah, if you can get
cannonball. Like,
I don't
what
imagine
was
getting.
that?
Yeah, I don't imagine getting nuked from a different, like, postal code would be entirely fun.
Yeah,
Fucking
like
shit from the top layer.
like looking up and it goes. The more I look up, the more closer it gets, the more it looks
Yeah.
like a cannonball.
I mean, that would be horrible though if you're in the bottom floor, like working in the void.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, there's a ship war going on, and people miss each other, and random bullets will start hailing out of the fucking sky.
Yeah, just ship pieces just hailing down.
Literally, it's just fucking meteor rains.
Yeah. Moving on though, what's next? Will you be able to simply spawn on a friend ship as a crewmate, or will you have to meet up in the world and possibly abandon your ship? We're still thinking about the exact details of that, but the current thought is you would be able to spawn onto a friendship so long as they aren't currently in a fight and you aren't currently in a fight, because then you'd just sort of be jumping someone else with an extra man.
Yo, what's up?
Hey there, Abo.
Sorry about that. I was busy. I'm good now. See, that as a question.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of
what's-
questions.
What's next? Will you be able to
Radar
yeah,
is next.
radar? Yeah, radar.
We're
Frostbite.
carefully considering that.
We don't really have any sort of radar or scanning thing planned at this point. I think it might be something we might consider down the road, but as of now, we do have some discussions going on about something like a looking glass or a scope on a rifle. If you use that and you point it at a ship or a player, you might be able to gather certain information that you wouldn't be able to with your naked eye.
Yeah, essentially, we're thinking against radar at the moment because it would pretty easily invalidate tactics revolving around stealth, which isn't really a thing that comes naturally to massive ships, but it's something that we want to at least have the technical option for. Being able to sort of keep out of view for a while is something that should be rewarded.
Well, people can make horrors. I know it's a sad thing to use. I mean, there's no one. I can't imagine anyone in the right mind doing it. But you're not limited to making ships that are horizontal. You can make a ship vertical.
Yeah,
So you could make a ship that looks like an island.
that'd be
Like
pretty
make-
hard to pull off.
Make a ship that looks like an island's castle and just hide on an island and blend in. Like, oh, it just looks like another building on an island.
I like that
Or just be
idea.
part of
honestly.
and then it moves away like Howl's Moving Castle.
That is pretty clever,
You
actually.
could add camo netting then. Literally,
I do like
just add
that
camo
idea.
netting. Just park next to the
Vertical
island.
If y'all can do that, I'm down for it.
Vertical ships are very bad in other games, yes, but in other games you couldn't place engines horizontally. It's not horizontal, vertically. You can place engines in any direction you want.
Yeah.
Why not
So-
make a Beyblade?
Although we should say probably like jets rather than engines, because engine can be power generation.
Yeah, so you can place goes hollow. Oh, here he goes. You could place an engine at a 90-degree angle to give you better lift when going up.
Yeah.
And I just want to alliterate on that point. You don't need a core for a ship, in the sense that if you have enough engines on your ship to sustain lift, you do
Yeah,
not need
that is
a core.
another thing. That is
Yeah.
another thing. We want to broaden the options for different kinds of lift, so it's not just void core.
I mean, technically, you could also make a Beyblade then.
Yeah. So if you've got enough engines to sustain lift and you've got enough fuel for those engines, you do not need a core. If
You
you
could make a helicopter.
you could make a helicopter, you could make planes, you could make jets. If you run out of fuel,
You are
God's-
hard boned.
Godspeed.
One other thing, though, that is probably going to come up with this is the stealth stuff. Didn't we plan on allowing ships to hide in clouds?
Yes, that is one of the other things. We're going to have. There will be features of the sky other than just islands. So there'll be clouds around. We were thinking of having things like updrafts and downdrafts that will sort of give you an extra vertical lift or drop as you go through them, that kind of
There'd
thing.
be a few island-sized creatures.
Yeah. And yeah, clouds are one of the things that would sort of help to enable the idea of being able to sort of stealth around in an actual ship.
Right. Ship-mounted resource gathering. No, it's just handheld.
Yeah, we're just doing handheld for that.
Do
You'd
ship
be able
cores
to scrap
require?
ships you destroy, but that would
Do,
also be
I mean,
fun.
hey, hold on. If they're standing on the edge of their ship and mining the bottom of an island, then I guess that's ship-mounted, right?
Sort of,
No.
indirectly.
Yeah,
You're not going to
'cause
have a port on one ship that attaches to a port on another ship. That's
Yeah.
not happening.
If you've taken prisoner, if you've got prisoners on your ship, they're technically mounted, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like a dangling
You wouldn't.
cage underneath your
Yeah,
ship.
you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't build a resource gatherer on your ship. That's just your multi-tool.
Do ship cores require a supply of fuel? No.
Yes.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
conflict.
Ooh.
They don't need a supply of fuel to keep you afloat. They'll work anyway. But you will need a void crystal to get it going initially.
Mhm.
We had the idea that it's the conflict here is that once you've made your void core, your ship floats, and that's fine. You can add additional cores to it to make it
Stronger.
To make it stronger, so it can lift higher up. And they do deteriorate.
Mhm.
So you can add like 20 cores, 20 void crystals to your void core, and that will make it better and make it lift quicker. But they do slowly run out like fuel.
Deteriorate, yeah.
Yeah, like fuel. But then then you'll be left with just one, which will be the core. And that's so that in dire situations you're not just
Can
gonna
just sort
flip
of
out the
stall
sky.
if you need to.
Yeah.
You can park yourself.
Yeah. But if you're core farming, it shouldn't be a problem.
Ship to ship. Wait, no, that's the one you just did. Is there any plan to allow ship to ship docking? Sort of. We wouldn't have strict connections between ships you could build like on the spot, but we do have tools for sort of connecting ships together. So the plans are, as so far, a harpoon and a anchor. The harpoon would just be something you shoot straight out. It connects a ship to land or ship it hits, but it's sort of weak. So if the two ships pull apart, it'll sort of easily break. And the anchor is sort of similar, but it has an arcing path and can hold up against more strain. Neither of them would strictly connect the two ships like glue, but it would be like on a hinge.
The ship the ability to attach to another ship or island, so you can do bootleg turns.
And just sit down.
I mean, you could always just make an extension plank on your ship and just fly next to each other at the same speed.
Yeah. It'll be a bit hard to do, but if you can coordinate it, yeah.
Real shippy
You
ship.
could actually have a frame with a core on it, with no engines, no wings, and just have it as a chest full of chests. And then what you could do is you could tow it behind you, and then when you hit an island you want to set up, like if you find a fort and you're going to set up a temporary base so you can attack, you turn the core off, and you basically airdropped.
You just chuck
materials.
the platform at the ground.
Yeah, you've airdropped materials in.
Tactical airdrop.
I like that kind of ingenuity.
Hey,
Creative use of game mechanics.
People will do it.
Of course.
If it's possible, people will find any way of doing things.
Can you make clear panels for windows? We haven't. It'll depend on the materials we're going to lock in finally, or at the end of things, but if we go with crystals for that third material, that would make it pretty easy to make clear windows as a thing. Otherwise...
Expensive.
Yeah, otherwise we're not really certain.
I mean, you could always use bars, like
whatever
jail bars.
whatever the case is, clear panels would be probably a lot weaker than ones that are made to be opaque.
Will making ships airtight protect you from the smoke? We don't know this one just yet. Because if we say yes for the clear panels, then technically yes, your ship would be airtight at that point, and which then we could protect you from the smoke. So you could do it.
Yeah.
So the second one.
The tough thing about testing if you have an airtight ship is that it's hard to account for ship pieces breaking, and just the fact that doors would kind of be hard to implement in a way that makes sense. So you'd quite possibly end up with like openings instead of doors. So it's going to be hard to predict.
The next set of questions, this is all yours, Ballistic. Ballistic.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. These are for us as it seems. Will character progression be exclusively tied to gear, or will the character itself get better over time? Yes. Gear is going to be part of it, but we also are planning on the character itself being able to learn. Yeah, being able to learn via essentially a skill tree. So there will be first off, of course, there's actually learning ship parts to use and to run. But as
that's
well,
something I can answer.
Yeah.
Which question is this?
That is, will character progression be exclusively tied to gear, or will your character itself get better over time?
Okay, so with that, it's a little bit of the first one, in the sense of your character cannot become inherently better. You cannot spawn able to very easily win a fight with someone who's new that just spawned. It's always the
We
same.
want to have some balance.
However, with progression of building, there will be a blueprint system and a base print system. So what I mean by that is,
well, ship print, not base print, rather.
Yeah. So your shipyard will be able to build the basic type of everything. It'll have basic jet, basic wing, basic everything once you unlock that area. But you'll need a special blueprint crafter to create custom parts. So like you find a jet blueprint, you can't make that in your shipyard. You need to make it at a blueprint crafter to put on your ship. Everyone can make any type of part, basic part. So everyone can research jets and toss that up on the shipyard and have it on their ship. But if they want that special blueprint, fuel efficiency jet on their ship, they'll need that special crafter.
For custom parts.
Yes.
Okay. Next one.
Yes. Anything about the magic system? Is it even still a thing? Okay. That's one of the areas that is still in the air. But
yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
I think
we can't say
we're add to it's become, unfortunately, it's becoming the Vim bigger thing you were on about yesterday.
Yeah. There's a system. It's honestly a bit complex to say it all here, but essentially, one of the things we're going to have is a system of 3 values. So you'll have vigor, which is health, vim, which is essentially stamina, and vita, which is not really a state of body so much as it is just an actual physical liquid that is stored inside of your multi-tool. And vita is what you would use to heal. So, sort of Estus style, you would have to take time to heal yourself if you're in the middle of a fight. And that's what you would regenerate from eating, for example. And since that is a naturally valuable thing, since you have only a limited amount of it in a given fight, that would be, we think, if there is magic, that would be what you expend to cast magic. So that it is a valued sort of high risk, high reward maneuver to use it.
I would really like me personally, just as a dev, would really like to push for magic later down on the line, Once we
Yeah.
kind of have more of like a stable like combat system in place, we can start looking at introducing
Yes.
magic. For the plain and simple fact that magic's just cool.
Yeah, that is true as well. If we, again, because we are still putting together and working out the fundamental areas of the combat system, magic is something that we would add in later.
Magic is
We'd be focusing
magic.
on plain weapons first.
I like how you say magic is true. Magic is cool, and you went, that is true. Magic is cool. The idea that you could
Is-
throw magic is great because you could throw fireballs at someone,
Mhm.
or you could heal yourself,
Yeah.
or you could give yourself a shield and make yourself, in purpose.
I will also say magic is a bit of a touchy name for it, but that's a lore thing.
Yeah, it's like why aren't my bullets hitting you anymore? Why are they damaging you? And someone going, it's magic.
Literally.
I mean,
Literally.
obviously, there is a balancing act to be put through with magic, but I think there's a difference between making a spell that makes your entire ship intangible, or just making a cool lightning bolt spell. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think what I'm
Yeah.
saying is you have a choice. You can either heal yourself or throw a fireball at the person that's shooting you. There's
Yeah.
your options.
Yeah.
Is your health more valuable than their health?
Yeah,
If you
one of the
think
unifying things that would be in magic, in terms of design, is that it would all be considerably risky to do. Like, it would be a very hit or miss tactic to use magic.
In fact, because what you would say is that if you shot a fireball at someone, you may not have enough now to heal yourself.
Precisely.
So,
I guess
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I think that having spells on hand, or at least having spells that, like, if you wanted to invest into spells, or even like if there were hidden spells hidden throughout the world that did interesting, unique things, but weren't so broken that they completely changed the way the game worked. I
Mhm.
think magic is a totally viable option for adding into the game. I just don't think it's on our docket immediately.
yeah,
Yes,
and
that is
on
later
that,
development.
and on that basis, you will have players called Harry Potter who just only cast spells.
I think the
Full of
only
witches.
I think the only rule that I think we might hard implement is interaction between magic and the ships themselves. Predominantly
Hmm.
because it's one thing to like throw a fireball at something. It's like, oh, it set your deck on fire. Now they've got a navigator on the fire. It's another thing entirely to have a ship that turns off their void core. That's like, I think we're
Yeah.
going to limit magic away from affecting ships directly versus indirectly. Like sure, a fireball might deal some fire damage to the actual panel itself, but we're not
Yeah.
going to introduce any spells that make your ships intangible, or make your bullets like homing. Like, no, that's not
I
going to
was always under the impression that it was, something that modified attribute stats. Like, you could put a magical item in the crafting recipe that might give it, I don't know, a little bit more damage or a little bit more resistance or something like that.
That will-
Enchantment can be possible, but I don't think
Right.
I don't think we're going to be doing things like a direct ship effects. I think it would be more based on, if you can't use it on an island off of a ship itself, then I don't think it's going to actually go in the game.
Right. Moving on to the next question: is friendly fire on?
Yes.
If your friends shoot you, you've got poor tasting friends.
However, it depends on the server you're on.
Yes, that'll be a server setting.
Yeah. Right.
For only
What is
official servers
hiding?
that will be on.
What is hiding in the mushrooms, Aboleth?
Next question.
Next question.
Why don't you
Uh,
take a bite, see what you get?
What stat? What is the stat? I have
I think
Oh,
you
I
should
think
what
we-
is
I
the
think-
status?
So it's a
Yeah,
voyage.
what is the state?
When can we expect a more playable version of the game?
Well, updates are, I wouldn't say constant, but frequent, I guess.
We're going to release a big one when we've got multiplayer going. Up to, again, multiplayer. We're going to make the game more compatible. There is
Yeah.
a version of the game which is coming out very soon, which allows character customization. And when I say that, I mean like you'll be able to design how your face looks, how your body
Yeah,
looks. if
it's
you're
like
male or
customization
female.
for now.
It's player customization, not like armor customization, but you'll be able to, design a custom character.
Purely
Of course, the
cosmetic.
boob slider, we have to have that.
We do have a boob slider. It does
Of course.
exist.
It's
High
required.
importance.
It
we
was
couldn't go to 1.0 without one.
I want to share a photo in chat of the level of customization you can go. If some of you have seen this photo, yeah, basically there is no limit on how stupid you can make a character.
Well, there are limits on the sliders, but they're
There is
pretty
limits on the
generous.
sliders, but yeah, they're very generous. Let me find that photo. It is awful. Now,
Oh no.
I'm gonna
Oh boy.
prepare your eyes for this one because it's absolutely.
You posted the
Dire.
Q&A.
Yes, I'm gonna post it in the Q&A. It looks it looks worse than that. Here you go.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
This is the
Sure
first
as hell
time
had a
seeing
good
it as well.
Sure as hell had a good day.
You may not like it, but this is the ideal male body.
That's what you expected from dumpster diving.
Looks
All
like
right.
looks like a crack fiend.
Would you like to buy some drugs, kids? It's that
Oh,
kind of
boy.
yeah. It's
Damn cleaners. I'm diggity dog damn.
The face
It's-
of this player base.
ideal male body. Yeah, that's the level of customization. It's Florida
It
man.
is. It's the
Florida
Florida man.
Hi.
Florida man.
That's his name. You know
I'm
what?
from Florida, and I can actually
Cannot-
confirm I've seen no less than 4 people that look like that today.
Canonically,
Nice.
I'm naming him Florida man. That's official now in the lore. That's Florida man. I'm not even
Oh,
joking right
boy.
now. That's Florida man.
I heard. Hey, here's a question. I heard that Voyage Drift will support different gaming platforms. Is this true? Yes, we're going to port it to Xbox. That's
Mhm.
that's a definite. Not PlayStation because I'm not paying the thousands of dollars for the license to develop on PlayStation.
Maybe if we get really big, then we'll start discussing
Yeah,
PlayStation.
somehow.
I do
Maybe.
want to port this to Switch as well at some point.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the PS2 port.
Mhm.
Yeah. Will there be specific parts required to run on your ship?
Essentially multi-part
Where
systems.
is that?
Do you need?
Like, is there gonna need pipes to run steam engines, wiring to run like electric engines, stuff like that? Generally
sure.
speaking, I don't think so.
No, it
Yeah,
uses
we're
your
going to be
ship.
keeping it simple there.
If you can imagine your ship is made of metal, and metal is a very good conductor
Later
of
on,
electricity
if
and
we
heat.
if we
And you
decide
can
to do
shock
a
yourself.
logic system, maybe, but probably
Yeah,
not.
We're not gonna have you hook your engines into like a steam boiler if that's what you're
Yeah.
asking. If you put
Yeah,
the steam boiler on your ship, the whole entity of the ship is generally considered to have the power of that steam boiler. So it's kind of running more off of like a World's Drift style in that sense.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
say there's a game that I think that question may have been inspired from. It sounds like a Stormworks question.
Well, we're not going to pull a Fallout 76.
Because Stormworks, you do need to wire everything together, and you do need pipes connecting to valves.
Yeah.
It does
That's-
go DRM. Bye bye.
If ships do require, is there going to be some sort of mechanic? Well, if they do, well, they don't yet. So
Yeah.
will-
The idea there is if you have to have this whole network that goes across the entire ship to make it work, then it
No.
would be a bit too easy to actually put
Break
the
it.
ship out of commission.
yeah, I'll just destroy that pipe. There you go. Your ship's now dead.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, if you want logic, yeah. Like I do think logic's planned later on.
Will there be an opportunity to explore ruins and find? I assume that's find things other than
Yeah.
weapons and like maps. Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Hollow is creating. He's making a ship assets basically. So we're having you can have shelves in your ship and you can store things you've collected and found.
I know. I think he's talking about ruins, like naturally generated ruins.
Yeah. There'll be ruins, but you can find things like playable records and picture frames.
Yes,
and-
we are going to put little goodies in the game itself. Yes, I'm planning if we're going to have like a little case to store them, or if we're going to have things, we are going to have little things you can go around the world and find. Some of which will have uses, other of which will be more for a prestige type thing, for especially challenging ruins and things of that nature.
And there'll be decorative items as well.
You may also get from those items. You may also get blueprints for ship cosmetics, or possible even better cool engines.
We do. I can confirm this. during our multiplayer test, which is lone masts, everybody, when we've finally got a version that people can play, for those people who play lone masts, before we close it to the public after testing the multiplayer, the people who played will get a ship in a bottle, which they can place in their shipping worlds as a little decorative thanks. Thanks for trying out our multiplayer. And vice versa. If we ever produce low mass into a game, you'll get a tiny little floating ship you can place in your ship. So both games will connect to each other in some sort of way, but it is a decorative item. When your ship goes down or parts fall off, how long do you have to retrieve them? If they're broken, they are broken.
Yeah.
You
If they
won't be
entirely
able to-
break,
You will
You're
not be
gone.
able to retrieve them if they are broken.
but you can't. If a ship like crashes, like it goes, like you break the engine or whatever, and it stops working, and then it just falls, you would be able to like tear the pieces that are intact apart with your multi-tool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like if a ship fell through the zones and you needed to go back down to retrieve like your chests, and there were any chests remaining or chests that were not broken, or if stuff hasn't already been looted, yeah, sure, you can go back and get your stuff. But if you drop like a wing off your ship and now it's flying lopsided, you can't just grapple onto that wing and pull and just like fish it back up. That wing is gone.
The question itself, though, when it
How
goes
long?
down, how long do you have?
It's cycles, isn't it? So
As we're thinking of it right now, since when a ship goes down, there's naturally only two things that can happen to it. Either it falls into the veil below it, or it hits an island. The islands themselves will naturally be able to, or not be able to, but since the islands themselves will replace themselves every now and then, when the island sinks or raises into a veil to be replaced with a new one, that will also remove the ship.
Yeah, if your ship is falling from the sky and you're not on it anymore, and you know exactly where it is, roughly where it is, it was near an island you recognize. If it lands on another island, you are extremely lucky. You can go and get it. In most cases, it may not land on another island, and it may fall into the void. Anything that falls into the void, unfortunately, will only become a scrap pile at the end of it. So it's gone. So there's no way to retrieve it. It's a scrap pile. Even if there was chests on it and valuables, if it's fallen into the void, it's now.
Yeah,
it's
there
now
may be
free
bits
reign.
of those in the. There may be bits of those in the pile, but it won't carry over everything. Bits of it will be lost in the process.
Okay, and docking as well. That's already been addressed.
Is there a way to protect your docking platform? Yeah.
Is
The
there a
way
way
to protect your docking platform is just to
Well,
log
hide-
out for a while and
Yeah. And that's it for the forum questions.
All right.
I am now going to give people.
Now we're on to the actual QA chat here in Discord.
So what I'm going to say is, unfortunately, guys, it's going to be a one question thing. Slow mode is on. So it's now ask a question.
To go back up through, we're going to go back through. I'm going to go back up through and answer a couple of questions that are kind of coming through. That just kind of came through generally. There were a couple, because I know that the Void Shard has now been taking questions. Is there a way that we can get a list from Void Shard? Like, is there a place that they put it?
Within Discord.
What you can do is you can just search this channel from
That is
Void
true.
Shard from user. So you just do in.
That is true, actually. Just like search for !ask.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's look at that then. Let's see.
I've already got that pulled up. If
Hey,
somebody
chat.
wants to, if I can read them out.
Sure, go for it.
First question is from Darwin's. Can we give our ships the theme songs that play whenever they fly?
Funny enough, we actually did discuss at one point whether or not we wanted to make a little mini feature in game where you could customize your ship's horn. So that is very much it was a cute
Possibility.
idea. But if we do decide to go forward with it, the answer would be yes then. It is just not going to happen right now.
Yeah, that is very much an ornamental feature that we'll be adding on later if we do it.
Next question is from Bappo.
Mhm.
Any plans for games other than Voyage Adrift?
That'd be your
Yes.
ballpark, Jack.
Yes, Low Mast is probably going to be a full functional game. We're not going to go into details what it's about yet, but the basics I can go into it at the moment when we finish Void. So that's where I'm going to work on it. We're going to make sure of that. It's going to be based. It's going to be based on imagine Sea of Thieves, but not broken. There you go.
Yeah, fantasy piratism.
Next question. Will there be any bosses? And if so, how many do you have planned?
Yeah.
Sort
Do you see how many developers are in this chat? Those are the bosses.
Yep.
All right.
No, but
There
seriously,
are
go ahead.
sort of. As is, well, I've been the main one working on creatures, and as I'm sort of going along making them, I've sort of been putting them into sort of tiers. There's sort of a mini boss tier and there's a full-on boss tier. So mini bosses would be things like, if you've been here for a while, that would be a batter beetle, which is something that is actually quite a well. It's a kind of an old post for now, but essentially mini bosses would be things that you find and can fight either on ship or on foot. That give you something interesting to work with, but are by no means required. Bosses also are not required, but they would be something where you would involve both your tactics on ship and on foot. So one idea for that is like a very large queen bee who has, well, not a bee exactly, but basically a bee that has the hive carried on their back and sort of uses that as if it's cannons, that kind of thing. So there would be, yes, encounters that are intended to act as something you would fight, sort of probably with multiple people or multiple ships if you so desire. They would still be optional encounters, but they are things you can go for large rewards, essentially.
Good on that one?
I think so.
Next question is from Mork. Will there be hot Neko cat girl / Captain?
I'm afraid that
Who
isn't in the
sent that?
lore.
Hold on, who sent that?
No, there's one question below, but above it. Have Bossa Studios been asked?
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have Boston Studios been asked to share assets from World Drift, or is Boston Studios sharing some of the game assets for this game?
No, everything's been
Where's
created
it?
by us.
Why do we get asked that so much?
Yeah,
I'm not
we're
sure.
we're not connected to Bossa in any way. There are some Bossa developers in this Discord. They're watching the progress. We've had a good look from them. We've had them say wish us the best with the project.
Yeah,
We've
we've
had one
talked to
ask for
them.
help.
Yeah, we've
We've
talked
not
to the.
We've talked with them. We've asked them about things and how they did things, and and stuff.
There's
But
no business or formal agreement.
yeah, they're not working for us. We haven't got any of their assets. We're not using their files. They're not creating things for us. But there's no connection to the studio aside from if you go onto Google Maps and Google our location, you'll see that we're 5 minutes from them. But that's that's our virtual address. So that's the only difference. Yeah.
What's next?
In regards to piracy, can we have it so that it gives a random direction? Gives them random direction or random amounts of force? What? In regards to piracy?
Which question is this?
Oh, I think they're talking about like if someone pirates the game.
Oh, right. So this is the cool thing about our game. Okay. In order to play, you need an account. In order to have an account, you need a license from Steam. If you do not have it on Steam, you can't make an account. If you can't make an account, you can't log in. If you can't log in, you can't play. So you could pirate the game. That's absolutely fine, but you won't be able to make an account. So that's it. there's no way to get around that. It's
You'd
there's
maybe be able to design ships, but that's about it.
yeah, you can play the demo and you can design ships and you can't upload them to the workshop. So
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Next
Fair enough.
question. I'm gonna convert this into regular or better English. When will you create more Void's lore ARGs? I think's what he's trying to say.
Huh.
when you
It's been a
when
while
we-
for that, actually, hasn't it?
Wait, what was the ARG? What?
Yeah. The question was, when will we be working more on lore posts or lore ARGs?
We're always working on that.
Yeah. Admittedly, it's something we haven't actually publicized a lot of recently, though. I should get back on that. It's just mostly been behind the scenes work recently. Because
Yeah.
I've
Nice.
also been like splitting between actual creature work and also working with Frostbite here on like combat theory, because those two are kind of intertwined.
Next question was also about bosses. That's pretty much been answered.
Mhm.
Wait, backwards. From Tank, will all cosmetics be free, or will most of them be behind a paywall? Will the same apply to pets? I want my damn cat.
I think I can take that one.
Sure.
So, as one of the people who absolutely adores cosmetics in video games, and one of the people who literally shills out money for cosmetics anytime that they're in games, Destiny, I can say with absolute certainty, we do not want to put a paywall behind many of our cosmetics. Some we might put up in a shop for like, oh, support us this way, or oh, a special like event cosmetic. But most
Yeah,
cosmetics
little
you're
like
gonna find.
packages.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
cosmetics you will find in world, and you will be able to customize yourself enough to the point where you won't really need to buy things from the store. But if you want to, hey, all the more power to you. Support your devs.
If you
Yeah.
find a top hat in the store and go, I need to have that, and even though I've told you you can find it in this location, but you're like, no, I want it now.
Skip the
Then-
line, essentially.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can put cosmetics like in the actual shop itself, and like there, who knows too. There might also be like special. I mean, we kind of talked about this very vaguely, but we talked about potential special perks for supporters of the Discord itself and supporters over the Patreon, where we might add a custom cosmetic for them. But that was like a long time ago, and we haven't really talked much about that since. So I'm not going to purport that like it's absolute fact.
There have been sketches.
There have been sketches.
Yeah.
You good on that one?
Yeah,
Think so.
so I'll go for the next one. Will there be a ship size limit? Yes, there is a ship size limit. You can't make a ship as big as you can right now.
Or bigger than you can right now.
Yeah, there'll be a limit. There'll be a limit on
Yeah.
how much a core can lift. So, yes, you could make a ship as big as you want, but it will probably never fly.
Yeah. There's the only strict limit is like the actual size of the editor area.
Yeah,
But beyond that, we're sort of less of a hard limit and more of a taper off of eventually it'll be like ineffective to actually fuel this much ship.
It scales directly. Can you put a bunch of cores on a giant ass ship that's the size of an island and make it fly? Yes, but unless you have the fuel to fuel all those cores and take this thing as far as you want it to go, there's just not enough utility there.
Also, if you make a massive ship, you are going to be the center of piracy. Everyone's going to go, let's just attack him. He's got a big ship. He must have a big ship for a very big reason.
You
Yes.
become target practice.
If you want to
Mhm.
make the Death Star, you be my
Very hard
guest.
to move all of that around.
I'm going to make a point that you can make ships in the editor and just share them on the workshop for hilarity. They may never function in game, but you can make ships in the editor just because you can.
That's true.
So you can make a ship from Red Dwarf or Star. You can make the Enterprise if you really wanted to. It may never fly in game, but you
Mhm.
can definitely make it in the editor.
Yeah, just like model it essentially.
Yeah. I think, there's no limit for that. There's a limit for what you can spawn in. It won't allow you if it's too big. But there won't be a limit on how big you can make it in the editor. It will literally, when you try and spawn it into the game, it will literally say this ship is too large. So it won't let you spawn
Yeah. What's next?
it. Damage from the void. 5th damage.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I
if you're
wonder-
asking if there's going to be damage from going into the void, I think that was
Yeah.
part of what we talked about.
Like,
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
there
yes,
will be
there's
damage
damage
in the
going into
void,
the
yeah.
void.
Oh.
Ask. Okay.
Fridge Destroyer got promptly left because he wanted to. He kept asking to join the chat and voice chat. We kept saying
There we
no.
go.
So there were a lot of people like that kept joining in and out. So I think we might have gotten raided unintentionally.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't hear anything for a second there, but I'm back, I think.
Oh, hello.
Welcome
Yeah.
back.
So next page.
The next
I mean, the
question
next one that I'm
is
seeing
Cybernite.
is. Oh, is it Cybernite?
There you go, Cybernite. One question, not 50. I'm not going to answer all of these.
Rapid fire. How
Yeah.
did you program the physics? That's a coding question that happened at the very beginning. Jack, that's on you, but that's a code question.
Yeah.
That's not going to be something I can just answer because it's several hundred
Yeah,
code
that's equations.
lines. It's equations and mathematical. It's just
Are all the devs actively coding? No. Some of
no.
us are modelers. Some of us are concept artists.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is effectively zeros and ones. So yes, we're all coding.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about working on code is it sort of gets exponentially tougher to keep everyone up to date as you add more coders.
Are the servers you currently own powerful to host a multiplayer test?
Yes, we already did.
So yes, they are more than powerful. They are more powerful than most computers in this Discord. I'm not going to say supercomputer, but it is 520 cores, and it is a terabyte of memory, and it is 2 terabytes of SSD. So yes, it's more powerful than anyone's. In fact, everyone's here. No one can beat it. I challenge you to beat 520 cores. Right? Why did you use Unity Engine? Because we hate Epic. As simple as that.
I heard about kamikaze ships. Aren't they going to be too powerful? I mean, if you're really that devoted to like bombing yourself into another person's ship, then I mean, yeah, I guess go on ahead. But they're not going to be so powerful that it's good. You can't kamikaze another ship out of the sky, especially if it's a bigger ship than yours. So you're not going to be able to just crash into it and then that's the end of it. It will cause damage, but the damage will be mitigated.
Yeah, there's limit to how like ship crashing works. Like it'll only be a local area that you.
We're not going to let you punch
damage
holes in the other person.
Will you do different cores? We are doing different cores. There's going to be small cores, medium cores, and large cores. So you
as well as different forms of lift.
Yes. If I put a high tier core in a small ship, would it overpower the engines? No. Cores are strictly and specifically for lift. Larger cores are going to be built for larger ships, so you're not really going to be able to fit them onto small ships without having issues. And even if you are able to somehow fit a large core into a small ship, it's not going to affect how your engines work because your engines are for propulsion
just going to be wasting a bunch of potential.
You're just wasting fuel.
Also, you put a massive target on you, going, "Hey, look, that ship's got a big core.
Has got a big old brick inside your ship."
Will I be able to make a base? No. I'm not going to answer that one. Will a wingsuit allow you to travel long distance?
No.
Yeah, we're working on the specifics of mobility options that aren't the ship.
I mean,
and aren't just the grappling hook.
Wingsuits are directly affected by both things, wind and gravity. So you can't fly forever. You could probably fly to island. That's probably not a problem.
And there will most likely be a durability on it too. So use at your own risk, because if it breaks midair and you start descending, that's ouch.
Yeah, that is actually another thing of note. I mentioned the 3 value system before with Vim, Vigor, and Vita. Stamina will play a role in any method of like travel that isn't either walking or swinging around sort of loosely with your grappling hook.
What are your expectations on minimum spec? Well, if you can run it on a laptop, that's about it. I can run it on my laptop, so you can probably run it on yours. There are several people who can run this game on laptops.
Right now,
yeah, we can't really predict exactly how well it's going to run until we actually have it in that.
We're having a potato mode, so people can run the game in potato mode if they wanted to.
Sure, of course.
How many players will be on a single server? Not decided yet. What will be the price? The price has already been decided. It made publicly a while ago. It's if I correctly, it was $24.99.
US.
US. Will there be different layers? Yeah, we've already been through that.
Yeah,
Is the
5
lightsaber
layers.
idea still going into the game? Well, the problem with lightsaber is a trademarked word.
Yeah.
So no.
But if we were to have laser sword, that might be viable later on. But that's not going in the game right now. No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's those questions.
All right, next page. Star Tube Wars 3 asks, I vaguely remember in World Adrift there being some sort of dash you could do using the grapple hook. Are there any plans to implement something similar to Void Drift? You mean grapple boosting?
Yeah, we're going to do that. That's already going to go in.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
we do
already
have.
going in.
There's a plan for a different essential mode of the grappling hook, where instead of swinging normally, it will pull you directly to where your hook lands. That would require stamina to use, but you'd still be able to do it.
Will there be a radio you communicate? Put your ship communicate. So I want in-game voice, but my developers have told me Discord exists, and it seems Discord does a very good job of it. So
That
I
is
would
true.
I would recommend use Discord. It's free. There's
We did consider proximity chat at one point where you could have like an in-game, but we determined that it was just not worth it considering all the options that are out there, and it would go too underutilized. Like even Worlds Adrift had one that people rarely use, so it was just easy.
Mhm.
It's just easier to just say just use Discord and then type in the chat.
yeah, there's going to be a chat. So
Yeah. On the topic of voice chat, though, one of the things we are considering as a way to sort of level the playing field for people who don't actually have those means to communicate, either by just not having a mic or not being able to use things like Discord, a system where you can sort of mark just targets in general and send info out to your crewmate, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Hello?
okay.
Pretty much.
What's the max
Hello?
and min size to
There we go.
islands? What's the max and min size to islands?
I'm gonna say that's tentative as of right now because we're still making
Yeah,
them.
undecided. Undecided.
How far
We
into
have-
development is this game?
Alpha,
Not
pre-alpha.
very far.
Pre-alpha.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go, buddy.
But it's around.
It's
3
coming
years.
along.
I mean, we've been putting a lot of work into it, if that's what you're asking, but we're just not really.
Yeah.
Can I make a SpaceX rocket? You could. There you go.
Yep.
Is Abo drunk? No, he's just very tired.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh, yeah,
understand.
I've been up for like 7.
What does the numbers in your Discord username mean? I mean, it's not that difficult
Time
to work out.
zones.
It's time zones.
Yeah, it's time
Can-
zone.
We're all based around I believe it's GBT, and then we just subtract or add based upon that.
GMT.
Also,
I've been up for like 18 hours now.
also,
Oh,
also,
Jesus.
Voyage Adrift won't be flat. By the way, like the world won't be flat. It's going to be around the globe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can we use
Wrapping around, that is.
aerodynamic lift?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That would be what wings are for, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make? Okay. All right. Will it ever get? The
Will
problem
it get
with it,
ported to the Epic Store?
the problem with the Epic Store is that they will take 20%, much like Steam do already.
Yeah.
So
It's essentially the same deal on a less used platform.
actually, they take more. I think they take 30% because it's a Unity engine game, not an Epic game.
Oh,
engine.
yeah.
So they'll take more for not being on their engine. And no, we won't make an Epic Games version using Unreal. That would literally be unreal.
Yeah, that would be double the work.
Okay, will there be rotors?
I thought I banned you from this chat. Lord have mercy.
Who's that?
Somebody
keeps putting them in the chat.
I'm guessing they hopped in an alternative account.
That's funny. About commands.
What happened there?
Y'all are weird. I do not understand what fuels some of y'all's sense of humor.
It's dry, bone dry.
Right.
I'm told supposedly his username is Bran.
Yes. He literally just joined today.
Yeah.
That's pretty wacky.
It's really funny actually because I can see what they're all actually talking on the World of Drift Discord. So it's not this
Still happening.
The problem is, you guys, you plot and you plan these raids in public discords that I'm part of, so I already know you're coming. So I would suggest if you're going to raid the Discord, you do it in DMs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually,
I'm not
can-
able to. I'm unfortunately not able to ban him. I don't have the permission to do that.
do you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you do now. There you go.
I fixed it.
Nice.
I just
Is
kicked
there a
the
way to
bot.
server bot for a while? Or is
No,
it
I
impossible?
kicked the bot for now.
Yeah, that'll work. Cheers.
Well, we'll have to reconnect it.
Got
Oh, that's a pain in the arse. It's because I pay for that bot.
it. It's all right.
Well,
You
we'll
you
get it
should-
set up later.
You should have just got rid of its roles.
Oh well. Anyway,
We'll get it we'll get it
Um,
working again later.
Yeah, we'll get it working.
will there be rotors? Well,
And
most
he's
likely,
been
depending on the
been
engines.
banned.
Nice.
That was
Alright,
pretty
um,
clever and pretty quirky, actually.
If I do a funny number hips, will it be Bannex? What the fuck does it mean?
What?
No.
A funny number ships. I think he means like 69 or 420 ships.
No.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Sure.
Will there be a wipe mechanic?
Wipe?
Will the servers wipe? Well,
Oh.
no.
Skipped a few.
Yeah.
Theoretical question.
Intentional?
Say someone involved saw talent in devs making VA and offered to support development. Would you accept it? That's more
Say
a question
again?
for Jack. If Valve saw talent in the devs making VA and offered support the development, would we accept it? I think that's more a question for Jack, really.
No. I wouldn't want to work for Valve.
Strings.
I
Those
would
kind
be
of things
honored.
always come with strings.
There's always something. There's Valve are great. They're a great team of people. Unfortunately, games that Valve doesn't technically. I don't think Valve buys people out. The last company Valve bought out was for Portal, and they bought the developers of a Nobocular Drop and produced Portal 2, and that was in 2011, so over 10 years ago. So I don't think that will ever happen. So no.
Yeah, even if we don't go for it, it's an honor at least. That's nice.
But if Valve developers say, "Hey, can I jump on your project?" I've just left Valve. Then yeah, sure, come on.
What we do need is some money.
Maka.
Will there be any material
I'm
combining?
serious. I feel like it's something the community should know
That's true.
about like that situation.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, no. Let's move forward. Apologies for the question. Last one, I promise. It's never the last one.
Will there be any material combining for more variety? For example, making bronze out of tin and copper.
Sort of. We have a plan for materials to be refined by adding in extra things. You wouldn't be making a new material, you'd be making a material which is the same in name, but a little bit better in stats, essentially.
Okay. Many games where the players are nomadic travelers give the players instruments or alcohol to drink ale with the boys or to jam out while on a sky island. Will there be instruments or ale in Voids Adrift?
We mentioned instruments earlier. That would be a sort of like large scale instruments, like an organ or something that you would actually build onto your ship. That's something we may eventually add in, not as a priority, but as something that would just be nice to have. As for ale, that's something we haven't really thought about before, but seeing as food would be a thing, perhaps that would be something down the line.
All right. Tank asks, apologies for all the questions. Last one, I promise. I'm assuming we'll be able to have pets akin to something like Sea of Thieves. Will we be able to put little hats and coats, etc., on them?
If you're on about putting top hats and monocles on your kitten, then possibly.
I don't suppose there
And
wouldn't
would
really
it-
be
or
anything
would it-
stopping it.
If you put a top, well, maybe have some sort of Easter egg that you say if you put a hat and a monocle on your cat will no longer start meowing like a normal cat. Will start going meow.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know.
It's like
I don't know about you guys, but
This
I might,
distinguished English gentleman imitating a cat.
I might push for just having normal cat sound effects, except if you put the monocle, in which case we'll just have one of us going.
Oh my.
Oh my lord.
Spooky Skull asks, will we have the ability to use dance emotes?
I don't think we have emotes planned yet.
I don't know if we want to do Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't really want to get sued by what's his name?
That is
Carlton.
true.
Flossing on the
Yeah.
enemy, you know.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll hold off on that for now.
And I'm going to say that's all the questions we're going to answer for now, because
Pretty much.
this has been a long time.
Yeah.
One more before we go. Leshy asks, handheld bolt action sniper rifles or sorts of manufacturing, or for a marauding void drifter. Yes, we are going to have sniper rifles. Currently, it's a little up in the air because we're trying to really design those. But I definitely want to see sniper rifles in the game because sniper rifles are my favorite.
Yeah, on the subject of that, one thought is a lot of times in these sort of multiplayer games like Rust, where it's all survival, really long range weapons tend to get sort of used as a means of just griefing people from long range without giving them a chance to talk or anything. So one of the concepts I've been trying to work into the design of things like sniper rifles is making them more of a support tool. So they would, instead of just having a very high damage outright, they would have a greater damage output specifically against targets that are, for example, already injured. So it would be something that you would use if you want to sort of call the shots in a team. You'd like sort of have them attack a target and then take them out yourself, or simply as a support tool in general, working in and picking off weaker targets, that kind of thing.
All right.
As for VR support, not at the moment. We're still trying to get a regular game.
That would be
It's planned. though.
intensely motion sickness inducing.
All right. Well, I think that was all the questions.
I think so.
I believe that was everything.
If anyone wants to slip in one last thing at the very end,
All right, one more question. Lightning round, speed run.
Can I have a coffee?
No.
Preferably yes or no
Go for
questions.
yeah, make them quick.
Battle Royale?
Battle
Absolutely,
Royale.
No.
absolutely not.
No.
You will sooner catch me shoving a scale model of one of these ships down my throat than you'll catch me making a Void Drift Battle Royale.
You can make your own.
If you donate $2,000 right now, we will make a video of Hollow swallowing a tiny model of a ship.
Yes, you know what? You know what? Buy Zavinet Studios, then you can make a Battle Royale of the game.
Uh-huh.
I refuse to make a Battle Royale. I do not
Yeah,
like them.
If you invest $10,000 into the GoFundMe right now, we will
Right now.
we will add a battle royale button to the game,
Actually-
and it will show you a video of Hollow swallowing a model ship.
Actually,
You have
actually,
10 minutes.
actually, we'll have for this. For
No, but to answer your question, no, I don't think we'll be putting Battle Royale in the game anytime soon. I mean, hey, you know what? If y'all want to get together in like a zone or like around an island and duke it out Battle Royale style, feel
I
free.
mean, I'm sure a server can be set up like that.
I mean, mod support is going to be in the future anyway, so they can make their own battle royale if they want to.
Sure.
all right, so the Q&A session is over. The main menu is DLC. You have to buy it.